Hey everyone, this is episode 89 of Noodle Time. Welcome back. Here with me is the Road Warrior, OSG. How's it going, sir?
What's up, bro? Yeah, Road Warrior sucks at home and doing those things right now on the road. So yeah, that's what's up. But Road Warrior. You know what? You're right. I was in Houston all weekend. I'm traveling.
Yo,
I've got to update the OSG mileage tracker, by the way, and get that updated and post that. So yeah, you're right, bro. Yeah, went to Houston this weekend. Jesus.
no,
Whew.
yeah, as many road games as they win this season, I don't think either team is gonna beat you because you're the definitely the actual Road Warrior that travels to all the games. Not even just at home, but also on the road. And yeah, it's insane the commitment that you make. So shout out to you, obviously, and also all the fans that travel, especially from not just like out of Houston, but also like travel those distances like inside the outskirts of Houston, you know. And yeah, just for the commitment, really.
Hence, if you see the videos I'll be posting every day and prior to games and in various locations, what's up, H Town, and all around. Because obviously, we are from H Town, or I'm from H Town, but we don't live there. We live in friggin' Austin, the 512, obviously. So, H Town and all around. So, you know, shout out to everybody in town, out of town. But you're right, bro. So yeah, I'm just having fun doing this. Getting down to Houston, I get to watch my teams play the Dash, Dynamo, Dose when I get a chance to for Dose for sure. But Dash were in town this weekend. Obviously went to that game. You were there. Dynamo on the road. We
Yep.
did the watch party. We hung out with the Surge. We finished finished helping out painting the
Yes, sir.
Tifo. That's going to be ready for this weekend. So stay tuned and find out what it is. I think it's just going to be an orange crayon on like a white background. That's all I think it is. But we'll get to see if they're creative or not. I don't know. We'll see. But look forward to it for you prior to the game. So make sure you're in your seat or standing if you're in the supporter sections prior to the game in time so you can see it, enjoy it, get a picture of it. Obviously, you don't get a picture of it; they'll be all over the place. Because it's a crayon. It's not too spectacular, but you'll be able to see it and laugh at it and make a meme of it or whatever. But whatever. But Man City. I know we want to talk about that real quick before we get into the actual show. 3-3.
I
What a
guess,
freaking
yeah.
game, bro. Yeah, I know
That
you're
game was
mad because
insane. Yeah.
you tied at home, and that's not what you wanted. But and 3 away goals for us. Oh, shoot, 3-3. What a friggin' game, bro. What a friggin'
Yeah.
game. But otherwise, I'm
Not.
fucking super duper ready to go. But yeah, man, we're Real Madrid, Man City.
No, yeah. The
Got the second game coming up.
return leg's gotta be insane, and it kind of helps that away goals don't count anymore. But at the same time, just going to
Oh, good.
Manchester to try and get a result is insane. So that second leg, yeah, it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah. Away goals don't count anymore?
Yeah, in Champions League they don't count anymore. Yeah,
Okay, good. Thank God. Because away goals it is stupid, which you get credit for scoring on the road, but come on, man. Bro. Like, not to make it that big of a deal, but whatever. But yeah, coming up the second leg is going to be very interesting, bro. And watch it be 1-0, maybe 2-1. I don't see it being like a 3-3 like it was, but you never know. This game's going to open up because somebody's eliminated. And Champions League is getting crazy right now. But yeah, I digress. I leave it to that. And congrats to Wrexham.
congrats! Oh yeah, promotion. They got promoted to League One, so they're getting very close to the Premier League, and
Woo!
that's
No,
insane.
they still got a ways to go, man.
Yeah. It's
Let's
still
see
a
him
long
get
ways to
out of
go.
League
So,
One.
yeah.
Let's see him get out of League One now. I know they're improving the stadium
Right.
and they got the backing for it, but League One and then the championship. So they're still a ways away from. They're not going to get promoted again. If they do, holy crap! Somebody bring them to the MLS and those owners to MLS because they're doing it right. But maybe it's just the rules. MLS, take note.
They could, but yeah, that's one of the things they actually addressed last week, and it's not going to be like a lot of, or rather, substantial investment. like we want to do, but it's something.
Yeah.
Depending on what the MLS Player Association approved, because the board of governors already approved it, so it's up to the Players Association to approve it before it goes into effect by the summer window in MLS, and we'll have to wait and see what happens. But with that, we got a chunky episode. Not as chunky because we're currently watching Dynamo 2. They're currently losing 1-0. Second half is about to start, and we'll get into the conversation later on in the episode. And of course, we do have some Dash and Dynamo to talk about. And with that, let's get into the Dash.
What's up, H-Town and all around? Dashers, Foxtrot, Andres here. We just witnessed the Dash lose 3-1. So we're about to get into it in this episode, but first let's get into a few thoughts. We'll start with Andres here, man. What's up, bro?
Not good, man. Unacceptable performance by Dash. I'd say late collapse 100%, like in the last 15 minutes. Dash nowhere to be seen. No build-up at all coming out of the first half. And granted, they got a goal early on, which had a lot of advantage coming on for Houston. But eventually, the thing that killed them was just like the lack of urgency and essentially the lack of also adjustments. Because as far as I've seen during the game, barely any adjustments done to try and get those more opportunities in. And Dash were like extremely quiet in that front.
Yeah, for sure. It was like you said, it was quiet. We were expecting some more offensive tactical changes. It was kind of stagnant offensively, and then the defense ended up falling asleep late and giving up 2 lackadaisical goals. It's all right, though. So, I mean, we're trust the process. The team is building up. Fran is building up. There's still a lot of work to do. It's just frustrating how that game turned out. Man, I think we just have to move, and we'll see what's up the next game. And guys, Sophie Smith's going to be our center back most likely for the entire season. Jacobs could be that. We're really short-handed unless somebody comes in to support and relieve us on that. Any final thoughts before we actually get into the episode, Fox?
Yeah, one of the very few silver linings of tonight was just I felt like it was Robinson, and I thought she did a pretty decent job when it comes to defending and trying to lock down those opportunities. And yeah, it was really upsetting because like there shouldn't be like any silver linings with this performance, but
right.
there's sometimes positives they can take away for next time. And this is a tough game for the Dash, but they're gonna have to improve from here.
There's definitely some positives. We possessed more. We were able to contain Trinity Rodman with her speed. So it's just, like I said, defense just fell asleep late. Offense was just lacking. We can't get the ball in that final third to create anything. We had a couple chances. Jane, of course, had to make some super saves again to keep the score 3-1, keep us into the game for the most part there too, because it was 1-1 going to the last 15 minutes of the game. So we struggled. Shell Energy Stadium. We got to move. Dash will work on for the next game, man. Final thoughts, Fox, before we get into the episode and really get into some sadness here.
I'm gonna have to move on. Like,
yeah,
it's that simple. And Fran Alonso, we said it previously, he's got a lot of work to do, and they've already proven that to us that they can get it done against BFC. And yeah, there's a lot of work to do.
All right, Dashers, we're gonna H's up, and we'll see you in the episode coming to you right now. H's.
All right, guys. So that was our clip of the us really upsetting game, and OSG kind of contains excitement.
That was, yes, bro. That was, oh my God. And obviously sitting next to you in the press box, we're just looking at each other like, what the heck? That game was frustrating. It was, first half, like we said, was up here. Second half was down there. But man, as we get into the episode, let's just start with the friggin' lineup as we come out. And obviously Jane Campbell on the back. And then we had Jacobs has returned. Jacobs is on the left this time. Schmidt in the middle. And then on the right was Puttengam. And the switch was because of Rodman and her speed. So that's why Jacob was on the left. And then in the 5 in the midfield, 2 forwards up top, West and Ordonez. And then, of course, in midfield was Sanchez, Patterson on the wings, Andrasa. Stay tuned for the Andresa interview that Foxtrot pulled. And then you had Rubenson and Yuki again as CDMs. So 3-5-2. Interesting what was going on right there. So with Yuki playing as a CDM again. But before we get into the discussion a lot, we had the return of a lot of international players. Bachman is still not with the team yet, which is understood, so that's okay. But everybody did return from the team. They did. A lot of those players were international players, and a lot of those players did start. So that was a thing that was going to be questioned going into the game prior. Is like, what are we going to do? Who are we going to start? And they all started. So I don't know if you have an opinion on that. Was it Fran doing the right thing by all these players getting jet lag and getting back late, and then just having to play in 90 minutes pretty much, or 75 minutes? Was that the right decision to start them all? Because he pretty much did start them all.
In terms of the jet lag, I don't think it's ideal. It's also not ideal for me because no bias, but Barb didn't feature at all. And obviously, I'm guessing she didn't make her way back in time with the team after international duty. So
I think they had a Wednesday game, though, to tell you the truth. So I'm not sure, but
no, yeah, it was still pretty late towards the international window, but still, I'm assuming right away she just didn't have time to come back, and yeah, in terms of jet lag, it's obviously a big issue. Granted, this the camp that was here, at least most of those players have been here since the start, so they are already acclimated. But obviously, having your team travel long distances and expecting them to play 90 minutes, it's definitely a different conversation. And I feel like I didn't see most of the players. Well, the one thing that I actually wanted to say is that, and we're going to discuss further when we go through the game, is just the fact that they've been caught either flat-footed or really they were just caught by surprise by the opponent. And I don't want to get into much detail without discussing about the game because it was very upsetting for me.
Yeah, you're right. We are definitely going to get into that. That's definitely a hot topic towards the end of the game for sure. Because they looked well in the first half and the first 10 minutes of the second half, but game changed, and then obviously what you mentioned, it kind of happened. But so we went through the lineup, and let's just kind of run through some players before we get into the main topic player who is a big deal and made a big difference in this game, but. West getting the start up top with Ordonez again, the rookie coming off, and having a nice performance. Nothing too productive really, but it's just acclimating to the league well, and I like her at least getting the opportunities to where we finally finalize that final 11, whatever it may be. She's going to be coming off that bench and be a beast and be dangerous. Is what I'm thinking right there. Any comments on Amanda West? Ooh, what a save by Dose as we're watching it live while we're recording. Yes, sir.
Oh yeah. When it came to West, well, the forwards, I feel like they were mostly productive in the first half, and I liked how West was getting involved over time. But we can. I'm gonna save it for the second half conversation because they pretty much just they were non-existent.
Right. Well, just as her individual performance, I like the strength she brings, and some of the pace that she brings. She's still got some things to learn, and obviously she didn't have a great game because then the scoreline could have been very different, and we could have felt like we were attacking better, but obviously we're not. Now, into an area that you've spoken about and mentioned about. So we have the two CDMs, or the two holding midfielders, and Yuki was one who I'm not comfortable with as being a defensive one, and then Rubenson played the other side. And I'll let you comment on those two players first for how they performed this game, and was that the right decision to make?
I felt like Rubenson had the better game, especially in the first half. Granted, Yuki was playing out of position, and she was asked to do stuff that's really not in her wheelhouse. And yeah, I just felt like in terms of previous games, I felt like Rubenson had a pretty good one to start building on. But I also felt like the second half didn't do much favors for a good chunk of the team.
Yeah, and like you said, Yuki's she's more offensive.
So,
She's playing a defensive role. Rubinson, I like offensively because she attacks players, but she's a great defensive player too as well. So she plays both ways. I wish it was Smith and Rubinson right there, but we'll get into that as well. So Maria, what do you think about Maria this game, man? She's I think she's struggling, but I think that comes more with the offense than with Maria.
Yeah, it pretty much goes to the offense, not just her. The production really was non-existent, especially in the second half.
Yeah.
And we've been trying to get the thing that stood out for me the most is just the fact that we were just trying to throw crap at the wall to see what sticks, and thankfully the first goal, which we can get into later, it was something that kind of came out of nowhere, and we just didn't build on that.
Yeah, Maria, she was putting those crosses in, but it ended up being to nowhere. Washington's defense was prepared for it. Ordonez couldn't find nothing in the box. She had a couple chances. Yeah, there was slim opportunities, but yeah, it just didn't work it out. And the targets weren't there. The corner kicks were beautiful, and they just weren't finding a target. So credit to Washington for defending well. Now the highlight: Jacobs finally has returned to the team and starts this game, but she starts as left center back, and Smith stays as a center back. And Jacobs' role this game was to try to isolate Trinity Robin and slow her speed down and prevent her from being dangerous. And that's why she got the start on the left and Puttengam on the right side, because Puttengam does not have the speed to keep over Robin, and that just would have been a dangerous. So credit to Fran for making that move to put someone else on Trinity Rodman at least the start of the game. But Jacobs returned, and then obviously 1 minute into the game, off a corner kick, finding the rebound, boom, puts the ball in the friggin' net, and celebrates our first NWSL goal, obviously our first goal for the Dash. Boom, we're feeling very confident. I know you're feeling very confident. I look at you, and we're at 61 seconds or 59 seconds, whatever the actual was, and we're like, what the heck's going on here?
Right.
The offense is showing up, bro. Yeah, man. I mean, I looked at you, and go ahead, man. Tell me about it, man. Emotion.
I mean, about freaking time, because and actually I got this confirmed by Jen Cooper, Keeper Notes, and she actually mentioned that this is the fastest goal in Dash history at 57 seconds, and I tweeted about it because I don't think I've ever seen a Dash goal faster than that, and it happened to be true.
Yeah.
But yeah,
you were right when it happened. I think that's the fastest. I'll need Keeper Notes to confirm. I bet they'll confirm. And then boom, right on fucking spot, they confirm. So yeah, you remember Houston, that was hard.
No, yeah, and I kind of pictured that because I was like, I don't think I've seen it this early before, and yeah, it happened to be that way. And credit to not only Jacobs for being at the right place at the right time and for using to capitalize off the opportunity, despite even being from like a rebound off a corner kick. So yeah, I can probably skip the game now.
All right, well, let's just get into the first half. We're up 1-0.
Yeah,
57 seconds into the game, and then we'll call it kickoff happens. And first half, going up into the 43rd minute, I think it was, the game was pretty even, and neither team could establish control of the game, and it was kind of going back and forth. So it's very easy to talk about the first half. Not very much happened. I think all the good saves were later in the game, but the important was Jacobs took a knock in the 23rd minute, I think it was, had to be looked at in the head, and then again in the 42nd minute. I forget what minute mark, but regardless, it happened twice in the game where she took head knocks. The second one just kind of was just be cautious, or I don't know how she was feeling technically to tell you, and they subbed her off, and just to be safe, which is very good. You can't complain about that at all. Especially, man, she was a need in the game and playing very well. So sad that she was taking those injuries and had to come off, and unfortunate for the situation. Obviously, hindsight, but so hopefully she's feeling well and she'll be ready to go for the next game. And man, but yeah, she just had a beast of a game for the first half that she was playing, bro. I enjoyed it and welcomed
Yeah,
her back.
and literally like her first start of the year, and it goes that way. It's not like it's not fair.
No, it's not. No, it's not. The goal containing Trinity Rodman for the best part, and then taking those two head injuries and having to come out. And you're like, Jesus Christ! I just got back, and now here I am again. Hopefully, it's just a bruise or whatever. Not a bruise, but hopefully, it's just a. She just got to comb her hair and get the knots out. She'll be back into it, and it's not a really good concussion, and she'll and not miss a moment. So because we have another good game coming up against Portland this weekend, so that's something. But as we move into the second half, we're up 1-0. We asked each other any adjustments. Do we have any subs? And we obviously there were no subs besides the one sub that was made for Jacobs, and Peterson was the one who came on to make that sub. Second half, were you surprised that nothing was changed or nothing changed to start the second half?
I was surprised, and I was even more surprised towards the second half because you saw the dash play, and nothing
Yeah.
was really getting built in terms of offensive plays, and like I said previously, Houston was just trying to see what worked on the
Right.
get go, and literally Houston, I don't think they didn't even really like threat Washington that often, except if it was like a play they were able to catch a break or something like that. Because I didn't see like any goals in the horizon for Houston unless like something crazy happened, and they lucked out in a sense in the first goal, and that's about it. And the second half made it worse because they were absolutely non-existent, and for me, it was unacceptable.
So basically, we're going to call it a second half meltdown and just an absolute friggin' failure by the dash and by the team. The team got tired. So let's kind of, we don't know how much we want to talk about them, but let's go through the 3 goals we gave up. And the first one just was ridiculous. And for you Dynamo fans that are listening, deja vu, because it almost happened last night with the Dynamo, but we're playing in the back, Jane and Schmidt, or just playing in the back, and it's just a poor passing between each other, and Washington's able to win the ball and put the ball in the friggin' net and tie the game 1-1. I think this was the 56th minute, so 1-1, 56. So yeah, we gave up the goal tying. It wasn't too threatening. They were starting to gain possession into the game, but just friggin' ridiculous. Second one, Washington's driving. This is I think we're into the 80th minute now. We're they're driving and right outside the box where everybody knows it's dangerous for a player to take a shot from. Nobody's pressing. They're 6 yards away, and it's a curling ball into the net. Jane Campbell can't do anything about it. Not to Jane Campbell's fault at all. This is the defender should have pressed whoever the defender was at the time. So I won't say her name because I didn't go watch the highlights to see, or I didn't go back and rewatch it to see which one it was to point her out. But then, like 2, 3, 4 minutes later or whatever it was, a cross came into the box and our defense is just flat footed. Don't know if they didn't know she was there or just whatever. Heads it into the goal and they're up 3-1 all of a sudden. Then bang, 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 and that's just the second half was just an absolute disaster. And again, I'm looking at you during the game, and we're just like, what the hell? And, so, yeah, man, how was the second half for you?
It was horrible. And just to give credit to Washington because from the first half after conceding the first goal, they kept up the pressure for Houston, like towards Houston, and that's mainly one of the reasons why the Dash were really just scrambling to get something
Yeah,
going. And the second half made it evident, like I said previously, the defensive production really wasn't there, and they were taking advantage of that because they were like off the break every single time. They caught the Dash off guard like several times, and like Jane Campbell once again, she prevented like 4 goals tonight, and unfortunately, like outside of her control, they Washington scored 3, and not ideal. Like for us, like for me, it was kind of also like an insult for her 150th start in which is an NWSL record for like only one player
Oh
in the
yeah.
history of the league. And for me, I feel kind of bad for her because she did all she could. She definitely prevented some goals, but yeah, it was just like an extremely bad night for the team.
Yeah, like you said, big shout out to Jane Campbell just performing super well. And man, I feel for her when the team is attacking and she has to come way out and do some extra things. But she does everything she can, and she's just performing at the best that she can. I wish that Nair wasn't around for the U.S. women's team so that Jane Campbell could get that start, or at least the U.S. women's team would find a way to let her get her start in the national team, just to get her out there and just let her just prove that she can play. Or uh, Nair, damn it, you're just too good. But
Oh, yeah.
anyways, man, yeah, that's just what it is. That's the beast of the game, man. But yeah, shout out to her, like you said, and just going through the rest and coming to the end of the game, there was just no flair from the girls. They were flat footed, ran out of energy. And you even mentioned this, and I agreed with you. We didn't see no tactical attacking adjustments really made. Besides, Yuki's playing CDM, and we sub her out for an attacking player. That I guess that's the only tactical change you want to make because Yuki's supposed to hold. Now we're not holding no more, even though Yuki's an attacking player and could just push forward. So I don't know what tactical changes. Did you see any there late in the second half as we just kind of wrap up this dash segment?
And I wanted to add because the subs that were made before the second and third goals that Houston conceded. Because you mentioned Yuki, she actually got replaced by Ivana Solon. That was at the 55th minute,
Yeah.
and then Alosi came in. Alosi came in for Andresa at the 63rd, and then Kiki Van San and Zizi Kaiser literally were subbed in at the same time in the 77th minute.
Hmm.
And for me, I saw that okay, they're willing, they're putting some fresh legs out. They want to do something else different. Literally, the two goals come in against us, and after that, I see that okay, they have to react now, and I don't see anything, and I'm like, what what's the difference right now? Like, what should be going on that should be different from the second half, like for like the start of the second half, because I didn't see anything, and I'm not seeing anything right now, and it's not ideal, and it's definitely something that I'll take into account for the next game.
Yeah, it did not translate to the field, the substitutions that were made. And when you said Alozia came in and she went to striker and Adonias went back to the cam position. And Adonias had a couple opportunity, I think one or two, where Maria was trying to get across and she was the closest to it. But other than that, nothing really came of it and averted from it. So, yeah, you made the changes. You tried to put the fresh feet on, but the fresh feet ended up not working out, and Dash weren't able to push anything, and just the defense ended up getting tired. So that's going to be a question mark with the 3-5-2 attacking style that Fran is bringing to this Dash. And being a stellar defensive team, is the team going to be able to adjust and make that transition from a stud brick wall to, hey, we need to attack now, and it's going to make it very hard to defend the game, and that's going to be a huge question. And how will the team adjust going through the season? Any final thoughts on that? Do you think there's an answer, or will the Dash be able to acclimate to it, or are we still in the boat of this is just going to be a struggle this season?
It might just be a struggle because it's a project, and
Yeah,
this is the first year with Fran Alonso, and we're seeing how he wants to play. We've already seen it succeed on Toronto against BFC, and we're just gonna have to wait and see. But like the last thing I wanted to say, just to like back up what we've been saying about like defensive production for this game, is just the fact that the Dutch only got one shot on the goal, and that tells you a lot because they got all those chances in early in the first half, and those were just a total of 9 shots. And you look at what Washington did; they got 12 shots in, and 7 of those were on target.
yeah.
And like I said before about Jane Campbell, she had to work, and I promise you, she saved like 4 goals, 4 or 3 goals.
Oh yeah, for sure. Jane Campbell always keeps us in the games for not for some reason, but always keeps us in the games. And what we do without her, we'd I don't know what we'd be a
Yeah,
laughing joke of the league, So, but man, So let's just move on from that crap. Let's move on to the next game. We're playing at Portland, 9 o'clock on Saturday night. I did forget to, before we came on this, to see what channel the game is going to be on previewing. So, Fox, if you would try to look that up real quick. So going into Portland, Portland is 0-3-1, 3 losses and a tie. They're not doing too well. Their one tie is against Louisville, who's funny enough. They have 4 ties going into their season. They started off 0-0-4, so all Louisville does is tie. So Portland, if y'all remember, game 1 of the NWSL season was KC versus Portland, and that was that 5-4 friggin' brilliant of a friggin' exciting game. Patrick Mahomes and his wife.
That was sweet.
Yes.
That game from last year against back in Portland. That was a sweet road win, and I was actually able to confirm the broadcasting information. The rest of the games for this month for Dash are going to be on NWSL Plus. So free of charge. You just have to create an account and sign up.
Now we need to confirm if there's replays on that app. That's all we got to do.
They don't have it yet. Like only for games that are broadcasted on NWSL Plus, they have those replays. It's just that games that aren't on NWSL Plus that don't have replays for some reason.
So we'll be able to do a replay this weekend. Great, because Dynamo and Dash both have a conflict this weekend. Dynamo at 7:30, Dash at 9 o'clock. So you one another you have to choose, and for us it's very hard because we're trying to work both events. But Dash are out of town, Dynamo are in town, so we'll obviously be at Shell Stadium, and then the game's not over yet, and the Dash are starting. So it's very hard. So we'll be rooting the girls on. We'll keep up with them. We'll watch them. We'll support them. We'll do everything we can, and we'll obviously give you the news when we have the news. So let's go out and beat the Portland Thorns and get a road on the win, where we always play better for some reason. But man, Andres, I think that's it for the Dash. We got to move. We got a game next weekend, like we said, against Portland, bro. Any final thoughts? And then you can move us on to the Dynamo.
Yeah, I'm just looking forward for the next game for Dash, and they better win because I'm not happy. And you mentioned road win. That's what Dynamo got, and I'm happy about it because we finally beat Minnesota in league play, and it took us this long.
Happy birthday, Dylan Wolpers! Finally,
happy birthday, Dylan Wolpers! And I just wanted to say, man, like I said it in the Instant Ramen, like Adrian Heath, we were the sons of Adrian Heath before he left, and this game, I thought this game was gonna be pretty tough just based on the lineup that we had, and man, I don't think Minnesota fans should be happy with this result because this is a game they had to win. But unfortunately, we were just the boys, the boys who showed up.
The boys just showed up, man. And I think you're right. Minnesota fans are not going to be happy with this win. Houston fans are going to be very happy how this game turned out because Minnesota was the better team overall. Two halves again. Dynamo good first half, Minnesota better second half, but we end up winning the game 2-1. That was just crazy. And then you mentioned how the lineup. We weren't sure if Sebas was going to return or not. We kind of had an inkling that he was not going to return, and he did not. He wasn't even on the bench. We knew the struggles, but I want to give credit to Ben. He put Seba as the false 9 and Bassi. So he switched them both, and I think it did look like it made a little bit of a difference. So that was a big credit to them. But shout out to the guys at the Looney Bin podcast. No way.
Yeah, Sporting KC2 scored
off a deflection too. Jeez. I mean, it was going to the corner. Looked like it was going to go in regardless. Jackson gets in the way, and it just goes into the goal. So here we are on our way to 0-3, but whatever.
On 4.
Yeah. But bro, yeah. Get us back into the Dynamo.
All right, back to the Dynamo. Good things. Good positive vibes. Yeah. I mean, you said it. But yeah, like you said, it just felt first. Shout out to the Looney Bin podcast for just pretty much just filling us in for Minnesota United. This is a new team, and I feel they're going to be pretty dangerous. And they got a lot of opportunities in for us, and thankfully, just Like, I feel like Houston just played one of the best games of the season, and obviously we just played like 7 games, but that was one of the best games for sure.
Dan, Matt, Looney Bin, I'm going to be interested to be listening to your podcast that comes out this week. Very interested. I'm curious to how y'all feel in your perspective because, like we said, we felt like y'all were the better team and definitely should have came out with that win. But this is the grit that the Dynamo are bringing this year and last year, and this is the difference in it, and that's why we're optimistic from week in to week out. And you can't turn away. You can't give up on this team. They're going to keep teams in the game, but they're going to struggle to get that win and sometimes get that win or sometimes not get that win. And this week, unfortunately to you, but benefit to us, we were able to get that win. So, thanks for being gracious to us. And I look forward to your perspective. Hopefully you were listening to this so this message doesn't go, woo, but yeah.
Well, let's get into the game. And we can definitely start with the lineup. A lot of changes, or a lot of notable people missing.
Right.
The first one is coming off the back line is Escobar. Apparently, he also said was questionable before this game, and he was unavailable. Bartlow and Shevchenko are starting, and Stairs because Escobar is missing. Stairs is also starting in the back line, and Mikhail was available off the bench for the first time since his injury, which was the last game, and he was actually subbed in for Shevchenko for a potential injury.
So I can't confirm Escobar was that his anger management uh, thing, anonymous anger management.
Potentially,
Yeah, so that's why he missed the game. And so I think he'll be back next week. Rejuvenated and ready to go. So that's why he missed the game. I can confirm per sources.
All right.
But yeah, Bartlow and Eric. And so we weren't sure if Mikhail was going to be back. We knew he was injured and he was training off to the side during the week, so we didn't expect him to start. So not surprised by that, but he was on the bench. So surprised by that one as well. And it turned out to be a benefit, and hindsight was he was ready to go anyway. So Eric is not 100%, ended up getting hurt later in the game, which I'm sure you'll get into. He did get hurt, and Mikhail had to come in, and Mikhail was just he looked great from the second he stepped onto the field. So why he wasn't starting, I don't know. He just should have freaking started. But you can't complain when you got Bartlow and Eric. So I mean, we're going to pull Bartlow off and put Mikhail in. Oh, woo, yeah.
Oh, Barlow had
bro.
had the game of the season, yeah,
Play,
and we'll talk about that.
we were talking about him. We were painting tifo and watching the game, and we were talking about Bartlow could be player of the game, and then Seba scored that frigging golazo of a goal. But so that would have been like, all right, so defensive player of the game, substitute of the game, stand-in of the game, way to step up. Eric, Mikhail, Bartlow. I love these three together, and I hope these cores stay together as long as they can. If I say as long as they can, because it's already people looking at Mikhail, and Mikhail's a fit for a
Yep.
lot of teams across the world. And as if those that are just catching on to Mikhail, I'm sorry, but y'all are behind the ropes. So stay on that side. No, I'm just kidding. Support the man. He deserves it, and I hope we can benefit from his eventual departure. But for right now, what a stud, bro.
Oh yeah, and yeah, and Glenn Davis actually mentioned there was some sort of interest for Mikhail abroad, and we'll see how that develops because I wouldn't be surprised because he's developing like since last year. No man, he's like going up and up.
Summer might be stressful again, just like this window was.
Yep, literally.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the back line. We do have also Arthur Latif Blessing starting as well, and
Woo.
obviously Coco. And
So with that, Coco starting higher, and Latif starting in the middle with Arthur playing back.
yeah,
That's why I like. That's what I like to say. How we play our mid three is like a totem pole, and so Coco got to play a little bit higher than he's usually used to, which is good because Blessing, we were happy to see him get a start because we've been thinking he deserves to get some more time, and that's why we brought him in. He hasn't been getting it, so looked good. Artur making some bad passes to start the game, but got out of that and washed it off to the side. But yeah, man, That was a good midfielder. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, and on top it was just Aliyu and Seba on the wings, and Basi just playing as a false nine. And obviously we're having the issue with like the striker position. Granted, Gabe Segal's available, but I'm guessing that Ben also just prefers to have that false nine again.
Well, he did the false nine, but remember again, he switched them. Basi and
Yep.
Seba. So Seba played the false nine this time, and Basi played on the right side, that roaming right wing cam position. We don't officially have a name for a roaming right wing. Call it the DQ theory, the Darwin Quintero theory, but Darwin pushed up too much. So these guys actually hold back a little bit and help defend. So that's the difference. We don't have an actual position for it, but that's what they're doing, and it's unique to the league, and it's a Ben Olsen style, and it's a Ben Olsen position. But it was a little bit different because I don't know, man. Seba does go forward more than Basi, and Basi is always looking to make a pass. And that's the difference. So I like that move, and if we're gonna play that false nine, I prefer Seba over Basi after watching this game and seeing how each one performs. At Chicago, Basi was the false nine. In Minnesota, Seba was, and Seba was able to do more, create more, and I think had a better game than Basi did against Chicago in the same position. So yeah, I like that, and obviously that's not the solution that we're looking for or want. So we'll still have to figure it out, and Sebas needs to start stretching properly and get his butt into shape.
Yeah, and with that, we should probably get into the game because it didn't look very good for Houston to start, and for me, it was kind of expected because Minnesota was just gonna go ahead and press as much as possible, and Houston was, and of course, they're as of right now they're one of the best defenses in the league, so they definitely know how to make their way around to see if they can make some damage. And the one thing that I was afraid of is to like concede early because I feel like if they're gonna put the game away in Minnesota, then they could have a chance to just really make life miserable for Houston. And they did get a lot of chances in, and I don't know if you want to say something about that because I feel like they were extremely close, and it really had going back to the defense. A lot of credit goes to them.
Yeah, dude. So like, first half was better than the second half for the Dynamo for the way we played the game. We possessed the ball the amount that we expected to possess in the first half, but Minnesota would take more advantage of their possession and get more dangerous plays out of it and better shots off. Obviously, you said our shots on target didn't exist this game except for how many shots you say on target we had?
So we only had 3 shots on
And
target in
two of
target.
those,
Yeah.
two. Well, I guess one of those went in the net because you're not going to count an own goal as a shot on target. So, yeah, so one of our 3 shots were were in the net, and then the rest. But yeah, oh wow, SKC 3, Dana
Boy.
dos, Dana zero. Oh my God, this is going to be so friggin'
Mm.
rough. But forget about them right now. Man. Sucks. And he even throwing off my train of thought. So you know what? You're back, Fox. This is
Oh yeah, you're good.
poor.
But I was gonna say, the reason why I brought up the fact that Minnesota were just pressing on forward is because they ended the game with 24 shots.
Yeah.
And they did their darnest to create as much damage as possible because the one thing they don't want to do is leave Houston with the ball and try to park the bus in their
Yeah.
way. And in a way, they ended up doing it, but at the same time, Houston had to like go forward and actually score a goal or two, maybe. And that's
Well,
what happened in that 38 minute.
even Ben said in the press conference that he didn't want the team to be so aggressive, and we kept being so aggressive, and he's like, but they wouldn't. The team mentality is they don't want to park the bus; they want to keep pressing, and it worked out
Yeah.
to our advantage. But it's funny how Ben was like, he's just trying to protect and trying to salvage the lead, and no, bro, let's play some game. But it is dangerous. It is a dangerous way to play too. At the same time, so I get it. I get it.
Yeah. And
Oh my
okay, 4
god.
nothing now.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm
That was too
okay.
easy.
Okay.
That was too easy.
I'm not I'm not gonna comment right now, but let's get back into. Yeah, man, that's like absolutely pathetic. But yeah, first goal for us, and it was an own goal off a corner kick, and it looked like from the broadcast like Mikhail scored it, and I was so happy for Mikhail because he was literally subbed in, but I
Yeah, a
just
minute
watched the
later.
replay again. Like you watch the replay again, and literally like the ball goes past Mikhail, but then it went to the Minnesota player's leg and bounces to the goal. The player's Alejandro Brown. Yeah, that's the name of the player. And literally, like the ball hits his thigh, and then it goes past Sinclair for the first goal of the game. And that goal, Minnesota did not want that goal. Like I said, it was like the thing they wanted to avoid.
Hey, I mean, and an own goal like that doesn't happen if Mikel's not going for the ball. The defender
Right.
absolutely thought Mikel was going to get the ball 100%, and there's nothing he could do about it. And Mikel missed it, deflects off the defender, own goal. There's nothing the keeper could do because I think he was leaning to the right. It went to his left. And goal. And like you said, at first glance, we all thought it was a Mikel goal, and we're like, no way, right into the game. You know, the
Yeah.
7 of us that were there partying, or 8 of us that were there, at our watch party, just enjoying the game. Whew, we're like, yes. And then we saw the friggin' replay as they were going through, and like, oh, it's an own goal. Whatever. Give it to Mikel. Give it to Mikel. So
Right.
it was, big, like we said, dude's a stud, bro. Dude's a stud. So big shout out to Mikel.
Yeah, and we actually went to halftime with a 1-0 lead, and it was a pretty good, solid performance by the defense. Definitely one of the main reasons why we were able to keep the result towards the second half. And the second half was pretty much when the wackiness started to happen, and a lot of the one thing I noticed as well is like, especially like when I was watching like Twitter and Reddit, it's just like people hate Steve Clark for like time wasting. But I'm like, everyone does that. Like everyone does time wasting, and
Yeah, yeah.
it's just playing the game.
Everybody does time wasting. Yeah, you're right. But we did give up that goal early on in the second half.
Yeah,
I don't even remember the minute mark. Was it 56?
70th, and
70th.
yeah,
Yeah. It
yeah,
just that was
and
just
it was
open.
yeah yeah off the break, and they actually found like the man Franco uh, Fragapani open, and he also like with a one time shot, he was able to like put it by the post, a pretty out of reach for Steve Clark. I feel like it was not much to do for him, but
Well, and
really,
didn't it
I
come
guess
off
like
that
off the break,
press?
yeah,
Yeah, didn't it come off that press, and
it,
they Minnesota won the ball right there, and it just
yeah,
well, boom and boom, and then there you are, and you're like, you just got to be kidding me, bro. You just got to be kidding me. How? Oh my god! Yeah, it's just incredible, just how things friggin' happen sometimes. The simple
yeah,
mistakes
and
that kill you.
that was the 70th minute. I was like extremely nervous about what's gonna happen, but I was not ready for the next goal because Aseba just steps up and finds the opportunity like outside the box, right? Outside the box, and absolutely curls it past St. Clair, like out of reach. Insane. Like launches like literally a freaking launch ball like a torpedo. It was amazing.
And it only works from that distance that he chose to shoot from. And you were there when the game was happening, and I was yelling, "Shoot!" Before he took the shot, and I was like, he better shoot, he better shoot, he better shoot. And that nutmeg, and then the next touch was, he's got to shoot. He better not take another touch and try to pull it back. But no, it was on his shooting foot, and Sabah did not take no crap. He just shot that ball, and like you said, what a beaut over the keeper, into the net. Keeper was 5 yards off his line, so they just all you got to do is put it over. It's going to dip into the net, and what a friggin' beaut of a friggin' goal. That's got to be one of the goals of the week. Of course, I haven't seen any of the goals this week, so I can't tell you the truth, but goal of the friggin' week, bro. Like,
Yeah.
dang, Seba,
For us,
savior. Yeah.
it's gonna be goal of the week because unfortunately Messi scored against Sporting KC, and all the all
No,
the plastic fans are gonna vote for
no, no,
Messi.
no, no. So
And
we don't talk about
yeah,
plastic in here. So is it the goal of the week or is
so
it
yeah,
not?
I'm
I didn't.
saying
Was
I,
Messi's goal a
I
good goal?
it was pretty good, but I was gonna say like our
No
goal of the week
bias.
is gonna be Sebas.
No bias. Which one was it? It's Seba. Which one was it? Whose goal was
I
better?
feel like
No bias.
I'll say Seba.
Okay, good.
I'll say Seba.
Good. All right. I'll have to go look at Messi and I'll watch and I'll go back. You know what? I'll go watch the 360 on Apple and just see what all the games anyways for the fun of it because I need to do that anyways. You know all the watching and talking we're doing with our opponents. I should probably do that more. But whatever.
Yeah, and just to close out the Minnesota game, the one stat I want to pull out is the fact that Minnesota ended the game with an XG of 3.15, and they only scored one goal, and that tells you a
Now,
lot about the game.
also 3.53. There's two major reasons why that was only a 353. I mean, was a 353, but only was a
3.15.
315, but only was one goal in the stats. Two major reasons. Bartlow,
Yep.
Steve, Bartlow, and Steve with amazing goal line friggin' saves. And again, reminder: there is VAR. Fox is right. There is not goal line technology, but VAR. You can still tell if the ball goes across the line. It did not cross the line in either instance. Steve's was easier to tell because he popped it up. It was going in the goal. He got his fingers on it, hit off the post, and was cleared out. But Bartlow's, man. And watching the replay, I'm like, why didn't that forward stick his foot out and make sure it went into the friggin' net? He didn't know Bartlow was there.
Yep.
Bartlow snuck in, cleared the ball, and then that forward's like, huh? Like, Scooby-Doo, where are you?
That win was all Steve and Bartlow. That was
Bartlow,
amazing.
bro, man of the friggin' match for me. For me, man of the match. Seba, goal of the match, obviously. What a stunner. But Bartlow, we get player of the match to me. And I don't know who officially got it, to tell you the truth. That's interesting. I'm looking at it right now because it's not that hard to find out in 13 seconds. So, I don't want to see that score again. 4-0. They gave it to, Foot Mob gave it to Arthur. So I don't know who the actual player of the match was, but it was not Arthur. Arthur credit for great defense, but his passes was off that game.
I can look it up while you go through the MLS scoreboard if you like.
Oh hell yeah! So we're up to the scoreboard time, man. So hey, you know what happened yesterday? Portland tied LAFC to start the friggin' weekend 2-2. Okay, NYFC beat cut me off if you want to speak about any of these games. NYFC beat the worst team in the league, in New England Revolution, 2-0. So I don't know, man. 2 years ago, I think I was asking for that coach Caleb Porter, and now I'm kind of glad we didn't even look at him.
I don't know about the worst team in MLS because San Jose is there, and they're a piece of work right now.
Yeah, but I think they can score. So you're right. It's going to be a debate between New England. We'll go to Eastern and Western Conference worst teams, New England and San Jose.
Yeah.
DC loses to Orlando 3-2. DC was at home, by the way, so that's incredible. The Red Bulls, the team that just made the top in the East, tied Chicago Fire 0-0 at home. So a little surprising on that one. Expected Red Bulls to win. Montreal, our friends in Montreal, finally they get a good win against Cincinnati 2-1. So shout out to them in Montreal. Good job. Crap game nobody cared about. Sorry, offsides podcast. Charlotte beat Toronto 3-2. That looked like that was a very, very good game. So no, didn't mean no shots fired right there. Here's our shots fired. Y'all suck. Dallas and Seattle 0-0, bro. 0-0. And I didn't look at the stats or watch that game. I was just kind of watching the scores as things was happening. And 0-0, 0-0. And they're like, both those teams just suck right now. And their fan base has to be like reeling. And like, I don't know, man. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that game right there alone or those teams alone.
Yeah, Seattle and Dallas are after like a very strange start. And I feel like they were going to be like one of the good teams to start the year. And and Dallas especially, like they had them out so much because of that forward they got from Benfica in the offseason. But
Oh yeah,
oh
yeah,
well, they still got
yeah,
they still got time. But yeah, still pretty early in the season.
yeah. Well, let them have more time because we play them in 2 weeks in Dallas, in Dallas, in FC Frisco, South Oklahoma Toll Road territory. As we move, of course, Houston beat Minnesota. Sporting hosted Inter Miami or Inter Messi. Of course, Messi with a goal and assist. Whatever. Who cares? Uh, RSL Columbus 0-0. That one was kind of a surprise to me. Not kind of. That one was a surprise to me. And then, like you said, the worst team in the West, San Jose. They do suck. They lost to Colorado 3-0. Colorado is also an improving team, so no disrespect to Colorado, who is becoming a very good team and might be in competition to make that playoffs this year. Probably will actually. A 3-0 Colorado over San Jose. So you're right again on that. And then who was supposed to be on top of the league in the West at the start of this week, Vancouver got their butts kicked by Galaxy 3-1. Atlanta, Philly 2-2, and then today, our next week's opponent.
Tell me what happened today.
Yeah, the Broccoli's. The Broccoli's rotten. They lost 1-0 against St. Louis. They did not show up to that game whatsoever. I was kind of watching it, obviously curious to see what our opponent was going to do before this week. They did not show up. They did not perform. They played well defensively, but St. Louis just got that one goal and they got their butts kicked. So Broccoli's are reeling, and stay tuned. We have an instant ramen coming up this week with the Broccoli's, the Verde Pendant podcast. So we're going to welcome them onto the show, and you'll probably see that episode come out on Wednesday morning. So y'all stay tuned. We'll get into it. We'll get into it in depth about the game, and we'll see if Austin can, from their perspective, do anything and bring anything to this game and see if they can beat us, which right now is very highly unlikely. Welcome to the Hell in the Shell. We're feeling confident. Austin's going to have to bring their A game to get a result here. But that is the MLS scoreboard. As I move on to the table real quick, just to remind everybody, Eastern Conference, it's friggin' Inter Miami, but they've got a game in hand. Are tied with the Red Bulls at 15 points apiece. So Inter Miami, Red Bulls, Philadelphia, Room, and Columbus Crew, Cincinnati, Atlanta, Charlotte, top 7. Top 6 those are studs. Charlotte, Montreal, Toronto fill out the other ones. New England Revolution with 1 win. Nashville with 1 win in 14th place, bro. Western, Galaxy, and then Vancouver, Galaxy with 15 points now. So second place, Vancouver and Houston, 13 points apiece. But it's going to be that goal differential that Vancouver has with a +6. We have a +2. So that's the advantage on them. Then you got RSL Colorado, like I said, in 5th place with 12 friggin' points. Already got 3 wins and 3 draws. So, like I said, playing better. LA, Minnesota still in 7th. So they didn't fall out too far, even though they've fallen twice now. So St. Louis, Sporting, Portland. With that loss, Austin goes back to 11th place and back below the line. Dallas sucks. They're in 13th with 5 points, 1 win. And then, of course, your San Jose. No draws this year. So they might be, you're right. I declare them the worst team in the league now. They're 1-7. 1-7 with a -10. Goal differential. New England has a -8 goal differential. So, yeah, either one, but at least New England knows how to tie one game. so that's the difference between the two teams, bro. That's the MLS scoreboard and the standings box. Take it over.
Yeah, I was trying to look up the MVP of the game for the Dynamo, and I didn't see one. But I'm just gonna assume it was either a Steve Clark or a Bartlow. that's how I'm gonna roll.
It probably was Saba, but yeah, whatever. Yeah, whichever one it was, who cares? Well, whichever one got it deserved it. So yeah.
Yeah.
But what a dub, bro! What a dub! What a dub! We play Austin next at home Saturday, 7:30, right?
Yes, 7:30.
What do we got going on that day? We got a lot going on that day, man. Let me tell you what we got going on that day. We're going to have a lot going on that day. It's going to be a freaking tailgate going on that day. And then we get into the stadium and there's going to be a Tifo unleashed. So y'all will get to find out what that Tifo is when you see it with your own eyes. That's the only hit I'm going to give you. if you follow me period, you would have the only hint you would have got was you seen what color about this much of the tifo was. So good luck trying to guess what it is. I dare you. I already said it's an orange crayon though, so you don't have to really guess. I told you, just believe me. But yeah, man, we're playing awesome, bro. You looking forward to this game?
I am, and it's gonna be pretty good, and especially because Hachiache should be potentially returning, so I cannot wait.
Yeah, probably on the bench, not as a starter. Obviously, because I think he would have gotten some playing time this week if he was going to start. So, yeah, don't expect him to start. Look for him to come off the bench. So don't be surprised, y'all, if he doesn't start. That's not the plan. He'll probably come in the 60th minute and play the last 30 or whatever, and then we'll see. You know, if we're up 3-0, he may not come in at all, just to save him. Who knows? You'll see. Second half, 30 minutes plus extra time.
Yeah, and now it's time to talk about Dynamo Dos.
Oh my God, the show's over. I quit. I'm hanging up.
The show's over.
I'm hanging up.
Thank you guys for tuning into this episode.
Red card. Red card.
Yeah, I can. So they just lost 4-0. I can only talk about the first half because that's the only half I saw since we started recording when the second half started, and the game was just playing on in the background. The first half, I felt like they played okay. I didn't think they were playing as bad as they should have been, as I assumed they were in the second half, because like conceding 3 goals is not ideal.
No,
and
4.
No, but they conceded 1 the first half.
Yeah. Yeah. 3 in the second.
Yeah. But after the first goal they conceded was like at the 9th minute, so it was pretty early, and they were starting to build up, and I was okay with the performance up to that point. But they weren't creating a lot of damage. And the second half, even before the second half started, Omar Gray got sent off, and we'll talk about the lineup as much as possible too. But they're playing with a man down, so that's probably what happened.
2 yellows again, and like you said, we're recording, so we weren't able to like watch the game as it was happening because we got a lot going on right here in the Foxtrot network. But if it's the same situation as Exxon, and that was just not a smart play. Or come on, man, you got to make mentally better decisions. Now, if it was just a referee being soft, that's a different story. But I won't comment on it until I go back and see what the heck happened and watch the highlights and be like, why did he get red carded in the first half? Like, come on, dude.
No, yeah, and the one thing I can talk about is the lineup for sure.
Yeah,
because there's definitely some names available, and obviously the main one that's not there is Exxon Arsu, because I believe he's serving suspension from the last game.
Yep, 3-5-2 lineup, by the way, and you're right. He's serving that red card suspension.
Yeah, Sierra Valdez, I believe he was coming back from international duty, so he's back right there.
He was there. He was there. He was there the last game as well.
Oh, okay. Then I'm mistaken. Yeah, so he's still playing, so that's good. And also a few players from the first team actually that were featured today. Those being Karen Sargent and also Gabe Segal and Brooklyn Reigns. And was still on the bench for the last game? I don't think so, right?
Yeah. He was. He played.
He was? Okay.
And he played.
All right. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
For
the first team, yes, I think he's been on the bench every week for the first team and does not play. I was confused because Brooklyn Reigns did play last night and got to play today as well. So I was confused.
He did, yeah.
I was confused by that one because I thought you weren't allowed to play them both. But maybe it's a time allotment that you're allowed to play.
Probably that, yeah. But those were some of the first teamers that played, and also some of the players that stood out for me in the first half.
Hey,
particularly
quick.
Achara.
Real quick, sorry. I was looking at the next. So I'm watching Next Pro still, and they show the standings on the Eastern Conference, and one thing that stood out to me. Sorry, that's why I had to interrupt. New York Red Bulls are in first, and Inter Miami 2 is in second, and I think only one loss between the two teams for Next Pro. So if that's true, man, they've got some good teams they're building up, and Miami might actually be a dangerous team after all. So when the nursing home,
they probably got some good talent for sure.
Yeah. So I just had to see that because that was just live on the screen real quick.
No, yeah, and yeah, I just wanted to mention that since I was only able to watch the first half, the players that stood out for me the most were Achara and Silla. I feel like they were pretty good, trying to clean the ball back or trying to clean the rebound, or do as much as possible to press Sporting KC2's defense.
Yeah.
And and yeah, that's pretty much all I can say because I didn't see the second half, so I cannot really comment on that. But I'm sure it was an awful game.
You'll be able to tell from the stats for one. The red card changed the game. I mean, granted, it was 1-0 HKC, but Dynados was still in the game, and it looked like they were being competitive. Then the red card, and then the game just went south from there. They gave up 3 goals in the second half, and they all looked like they were just easy, lazy goals. I mean, good balls from the SKC team to put themselves in that situation and finish the shots and stuff like that. And one of those was a shot was blocked but deflected into the goal in the opposite corner that the keeper was diving to. So, what do you ever do about those when you actually blocked a shot by a defender, but then it just it ricochets into the friggin' goal? You're like, you're mad. I did my job, but no, I didn't do my job. It sucks. It's just, man, that was just horrible, bro. And it's 3-5-2 playing. It's more of a 3-2-4-1 to tell you the truth. And I don't really understand it. They say that they're playing like that because that's what the first team wants them to play like. And it's similar to the first. Well, all right, it's the first team. It just looks different because I think the players are executing it differently. And we're used to Dorsey and Escobar on both sides. On this one, we don't have somebody on both sides. We're only 3 backs pure. So it's weird just to talk about, but I'm pretty sure Kenny Bundy's frustrated. He's got some players, a lot of talent, and I'd probably use them differently than what they're being used right now, the formation wise. And I bet if Kenny had free reign to coach them the way he wanted to coach them and tactics and play the way he wanted to play them instead of kind of having to go off the instruction, it might be a little different. And the team might be playing I would say they would be playing a lot different. And I think it would benefit in their technical development as well at the same time in improving individual players, preparing them for the first team. Right now, they're just getting beat up mentally. They're losing. They're not playing well at all. There's not that chemistry's not that well. I think something has to change and adjustment has to be made. Curious. That was my big main question I had for you entering this dose segment after that incredible 4-0 loss, which makes us 0-4 to start the season when we had at least some hopes for this season.
But yeah, the one thing that stands out for me is the chemistry, and like I'm not sure if this is like an issue with because you said it yourself, the talent's there, but for some reason there's no connection with setting the man forward, knowing where your team is going to be in the back line to try and defend because these results keep happening and obviously we said it a few times before that the priority of the team is to play players that don't necessarily like focus on results a lot, but the teams in the league succeed because they found a balance of having a competent team and they found the chemistry, they know the basics, and no, the way I see it, like they found and those have already found success in the past. Like they've already made playoffs twice, and this is like the first time they started the year with like 4 losses in a row. So there's clearly something wrong, and it might just be like a matter of chemistry. And I like to base that of the games that I've seen so far, and that's I saw glimpses of that in the first half. They got something going, and obviously there was plenty of games to start. And this could have been affected by the red card, obviously, but
Yeah.
at the same time, you see the pattern here pretty much.
Right. And results do matter because a team that's losing the way they're losing and losing this much, it makes a difference on how they play and effective the game. So, yeah, so we need to find a way to get some results. And then we can get back to focusing on other things. So right now, priorities have to be adjusted. And I think Bundy needs some leniency right now because credit to the man, we know he's a good coach and he's a well-deserving coach and he knows what he's doing. So he needs to get some leniency from the first team right now to be able to just kind of open the field up and allow these boys to play the way that they can formulate the best right now. And I think that's going to be a huge difference. And I think that will benefit the first team most individually, because you're not bringing a whole team up anyways. You're bringing individuals up, i.e. Achara is probably the individual that will be the person that'll be brought up if his form continues to go upward, because I think his form is going
At some
upward.
point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and his stock is going up, and barring an emergency necessity, we can allow him to play on dose for the longest term and continue to work on his form, and then eventually just call him up to the first team to where he can come off the bench and just be somebody that knows the game, plays the game well, is an MLS player with plenty of experience. He's got almost 20 games experience, 14, 15 games experience, so he knows the game in MLS, and he can play it, and he's proven, and he's age, he's strong, he can fight off defenders, he's not a kid. So y'all just watch Achara. I know everybody wants Exxon. Exxon's going to be different until they start playing him on that left side and let him play as an inverted winger, because I don't think if they don't do that, they're not going to allow him to get to the first team and just try to, hey, go play the left wing, even though you haven't done it all year for Dose. So that's something. But look for Achara. But yeah, let's focus on the individuals right now. Let's just focus on getting some results and improving them, and so they don't blow up mentally as well, and just the entire season's shot.
Yeah, I feel like it's a good way to end it because there's still a lot of work to do. Thankfully, the season's still early.
Yeah. I mean, I think that the last one was just a good point. I'd like to make, and I hopefully that gets across, and maybe we can get Herman to ask that question to Kenny and see, or maybe I'm just gonna have to hop into one of these press conferences eventually and just ask that question, because I'm very curious to see what Kenny Bundy would have to say about that, and as much as he can answer at the same time, because I know he does answer to the first teams. But yeah, you're right, bro. 4-0. Let's get off of Dose. They're off next week, by the way. So bye. No game, so don't have to worry about it. Enjoy the rest. Take it easy, and then we'll worry about your next opponent in 7 days.
No, yeah, that's a good way to put it. Like, just regroup and get ready for the next game, because it's still pretty early, like I mentioned. So still a long ways to go.
Yeah, for sure. Let's play the safe.
Well, guys, it's gonna do it for this one, and like OSG just said, we should have our latest instant ramen with Austin FC. The Averted Pendant podcast is gonna join us, and it's gonna be a big one. We're gonna have probably 6 people there, and it's gonna be crazy.
3 of the Foxtrot boys and 3 of the Verde Pendant crew all together at the same time. So it should be interesting. It's probably going to be a little bit of a longer episode, but we should be very entertaining and getting ready for the game. And this will be in all fun. So if you're looking to look into a video of a bar fight, that's probably not what's going to happen, but you never know. So tune in. We'll see how that that friggin' goes, bro. But for those of you that do throw your support out there with all the videos I'll be making prior to games and just in random places all over town and all over Houston and all over Austin or anywhere I'm friggin' at. Shout out to Herman and Dynamico. You'll expect a Dynamico episode coming out this week. Shout out to Sam, who's been supporting him on the end, bro. I hope you're feeling better. Feel better soon, because you got an episode, you got a dub to talk about. And Andres, obviously we made the trip to Houston. We both made it back safe. I'll be doing it again this weekend, so I will be ready to go looking to beat the Broccolis and just get another dub and continue with that run right there, and hopefully a favorable Ache return. But for me, y'all know where to find me. Old Soccer Guy Personal, Noodle Tempio, Foxtrot account. You've got Dynamic Foxtrot right here to the other side of my window right here. Instagram, Dynamic Foxtrot, and Old Soccer Guy. Man, check us out. Follow us. Throw some support if you can. Comment if you can. We're at in the Discord as well. So if you want to join the Discord and you're a Dynamo Dash or Dose fan, let us know. We'll get you into the Discord. So I'm H's, bro. Fox, how you feeling? How you feeling, bro?
Hyped up, man.
Yeah.
That away dub,
Yes.
coming going.
Yeah.
And definitely through this week for sure.
Yes.
Well, yeah, guys. As always, thank you so much for tuning in and supporting us. And it's the Noodle, y'all.
H's.